So a little while ago, we got the announcement and first teaser trailer for the upcoming Moana film, and as per usual, the visuals looked really good. But there wasn't enough shown to really start to piece together much of a story. But here we are onto teaser trailer number 2, and from what I've seen, whilst it looks good, there is a certain subsection of people that are really quite certain this is going to be yet another stinker for Walt Disney Animated Studios, and I'll be honest, this has me a bit confused. I was rather surprised by all that. I felt like the first one was really good. It was a critical smash hit and a big financial success. Not a billion-dollar game changer, but still very successful. So before I went any further into this teaser trailer, I wanted to dig into why people seem to be nervous. And it seems like the root of the issue comes from the fact that way back in 2020, at that big Disney investors meeting where they announced a bunch of shit, Disney revealed they were working on a Moana series for Disney+. That's right, a series. Now, I like shows as much as the next person, but I think that Disney, DreamWorks, Pixar, does Pixar even do shows? I can't even remember. But for Disney and DreamWorks, it is clear the quality of the shows and the films is different. And so I guess the idea here is that Disney has had a lot of flops recently. Frozen 2 was the last real big box office hit. Raya was ruined by the rise of COVID. Encanto had underperformed. Yeah, COVID. But Sing 2 came out only the next month and almost doubled its gross. And on a lesser budget too. Got like 400 mil. And so whilst Encanto redeemed itself on streaming, it underperformed massively at the box office, I think. Actually, no, I just checked. For some reason, Disney decided to be very stupid and only gave it a 30-day theatrical release. And it still grossed 200 mil. Why would they pull it? It was clearly doing well. Do you reckon they saw the gross for Sing in the end and realized, oh man, we screwed up? They surely did, right? And that terrible decision to cut the run short was then compounded by Strange World and Wish bombing back to back, apparently losing the studio $197 million and $131 million respectively. So, woohoo, those are some big fails. So the idea here is they've panicked at their lack of box office success and thus began the process of retooling Moana into a cinematic experience rather than a longer form series. And since your narrative structure is going to be very different from a film than it would be for a show, I guess there's this fear that it's not going to work, that it's going to feel rushed, feel haphazard and poorly streamlined. And I do understand that fear. After all, their last 2 cinematic efforts have left a fair bit to be desired. I don't think they were quite as bad as the box office would suggest, but they were far from their glory days. But I do have to say, surely they haven't started this process of turning it into a movie just after seeing the massacre that was Wish, right? Like, to me, it would be absurd they'd try to do this in about a year. So I think it's going to be okay. I think this has been in the plans for a long time. I mean, even if it wasn't, it would still probably do very well at the box office, so mission accomplished there in terms of preventing more money bleeding from the studio. But still, I don't see anybody allowing that. Allowing them to just release this trashy film that's been made in a year. Maybe I'm being naive. Maybe people are that greedy and stupid. But I just don't see it happening, right? Right? But that being said, enough doomsaying. Let's have a look at the trailer, shall we? Okay, so the description does have a little bit of a blurb about the film we can maybe use to figure out some of the story and whatnot. Okay, so it reads, opening only in theaters, November 27th, 2024. Moana 2 reunites Moana and Maui 3 years later for an expansive new voyage alongside a crew of unlikely seafarers. After receiving an unexpected call from her wayfinding ancestors, Moana must journey into the far seas of Oceania and into dangerous long-lost waters for an adventure unlike anything she's ever faced. So yeah, pretty much I expected from the first video on the teaser trailer. It's an adventure to find some long-lost people that need her help to reunite them with their own. Although, kind of thought that's what she was doing at the end of the first movie, right? To go out on the seas, reunite the different colonies of her people that had been scattered across various different islands, but had been cut off from one another because Maui had stolen the heart. Was that not the ending of the first film? Have I misinterpreted everything? What has she been doing for 3 years? Or is this like some super special, secret, magical people that everyone thought was a myth or something that diverged long and long ago? Guess we'll find out, but yeah. I guess we'll have a look at the trailer, huh? Okay, so we start off the teaser with a look at Moana helping a little hermit crab move from one shell into a much larger shell that she provides. And look, from here alone, I can see why these damn films are so expensive to make, right? Absolutely beautiful. Look at the water effects. They've gotten even better than the first one. They were already damn good. I mean, just the swell of the waves crashing around Moana's feet, how when it hits her ankles and whatnot, it splits, makes that white foam. And the glistening of the wet sand when the shot pulls back. God damn, look at this. I mean, this has got to have cost some big bucks, and plus the fact they have The Rock, who commands a big payday. Whew. You got to hope the film's a success, because if Wish, which looked much lesser in terms of animation, lost almost $150 million, Imagine how much this would lose if it flopped. Yikes. Also, I imagine this opening scene of the trailer is somewhat symbolic. The crab is moving from one shell to a slightly better shell, only for Moana to appear and help it by giving it a much better shell. So I expect part of the story is involving Moana leading these lost people to a safer home where they can continue to thrive. And then we get our first proper look at Moana. And yet, once again, the graphics have pushed into even greater heights. The hair especially even better, but, it was already good in the OG, but just better now. Also, I'm rather impressed that visually they've managed to make her face look older, but only slightly, You can tell time's passed, but she's still a very young woman. God. At what point does this stop, by the way? When do we reach the plateau where graphics have been pushed pretty much as far as they can, while still remaining cartoonish? We then have a shot of her people waving her off. Man, her parents have aged a bit in 3 years. Also, it seems like she has a new little sister. Maybe that's why. That's cute. Also, looking at this crowd, not that I think every character needs to have a unique model, but I'm pretty sure I'm seeing some copy-paste jobs in this crowd. Bump it up to HD, watch it in slow-mo, and tell me there's not some copy-pastes. I know it's a little thing to complain about, like why waste money when you can use the same model and slightly tweak the hair and clothes, but I felt like it was noticeable when you look past the parents. Although I guess, that being said, the focus is supposed to be on the parents in this scene, so it probably doesn't matter all that much. We then have a scene of the village having a big gathering, maybe a welcome home or some other such celebration, only for lightning to strike their big hall, blast through the roof and hit Moana. And I'm guessing this is going to KO her, give her some sort of vision that she has to follow through on. Just a wild guess. Next shot of hers hitting that big drum thing, trying to summon the ancestors maybe. And this will obviously work, just in the film and not the trailer. And then she'll get her mission statement and directions or whatever. Also, poor Hey Hey. Is that his name? Hey Hey? The chicken guy? The rooster? How are you going to treat your pet like that? Just tossing him out. Oof. And we also get our first glimpse of the so-called unlikely seafarers. We see Moana, the pig, the rooster, big dude on the back steering. There's a girl, I think, on the side. What seems to be an old man. They're pretty much hitting all the stereotypical characters a ragtag group will have. We then have some more cool aquatic shots, some dolphins, some glowing whale shark. It all looks very nice, very beautiful. Another closer look at our heroes, and yes, Moana's new outfit, very cool. And we have some narration, presumably by Moana, talking about how they need to sail to reconnect their people across the entire ocean. So, yeah, this pretty much confirms there's going to be a distant lost tribe that they need to link up with that's in danger. I mean, surely that's the story. And I think ultimately the film's going to be about their adventure and the tribulations of their quest, rather than facing some central overarching antagonist. If you've transformed it from a show into a film, that implies that the show would likely follow them sailing most of the time. So I feel like the film will also do that. At least that's what I'd assume. We then see the Kakamora, is that what they're called? The coconut dudes again? Although I reckon this is going to be a fake out scene. I don't think they're going to attack them like they did in the first film. I think it's going to be revealed that Moana can speak to them maybe, trades with them for directions, just a guess, but I smell a fake out. We then see her sail into the mouth of some giant sea creature. Oh, yuck. The eyes, the mouth, the tentacles, thingies. No thank you. This is why I dislike the deep ocean. Gross. Why are sea creatures so yucky? Then we finish off with the arrival of Maui and him trying to eat the pig and the rooster. And I suspect he's going to be in and out of this journey. I just don't think he's going to be as crucial overall as he was in the first movie. I don't know why, but I think it's probably because having a full-powered demigod, that would make things so easy, wouldn't it? Realistically, he's too OP to have around all the time, and so he has to vamoose for big parts of the film, I think. And so yeah, that brings us to the end of the trailer. I actually liked it. I'm quite optimistic that this is going to be good. Disney needs it to be good. Please be good. I'd be so disappointed if they wrecked Moana. And so yeah, with all that being said, these have just been my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of the teaser, if you've seen it? Did you like it, hate it? Are you excited for the movie? Maybe not. I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.